Can everybody see that? Full screen? Fantastic. Great stuff. So as Lauren and Kathy said, I'm from Monash University and the project officer for the HDNA. Let me just move along. To start off, what is the HDNA? The HDNA is the Huntington's Disease Network of Australia. It's a project that was conceived by Professor Julie Stout of Monash University, and we started it back in 2020. The project is funded by an NHMRC grant, and the main aim is the best quality of life for all people in Australia affected by Huntington's disease. That brings me to the reason that I'm talking to you all this evening, is to just give a bit more information on our first initiative of the HDNA, that being the MAP HD registry. It's going to be the first ever collection of a uniform set of data on all people in Australia affected by Huntington's disease. And we hope to use this data to enable research to support the main aim of the HDNA, as well as prepare Australia for the new treatments that become available. I'll move on. Why do we think it's a good idea to map HD across Australia? Well, we've realized that there's big gaps in what we know about where people are that are affected by the disease and what services and care they access, and more importantly, I suppose, which ones they don't have access to. We're hoping to connect people to research and clinical trial opportunities, as well as use the data to come up with great research to help advance treatments in Huntington's disease. And then we get to who is eligible to sign up to the MAP-HD registry. It's for all people in Australia affected by the disease, and that includes adults and children, not just people over the age of 18. And there we have the points of criteria there for people that can sign up. Those diagnosed with the disease, those that are undiagnosed but gene positive, anyone with a family member with HD, even if they themselves do not have the gene, those at risk and both not at risk, and anybody who helps to care for a person with HD. So it's not, importantly, it's not just people with the gene at risk or who have been officially diagnosed with HD. And how do you sign up to it? Well, that's pretty simple. You go to our website, hdna.com.au, and you create an account in the MAP-HD registry. And then you fill out your profile by answering the questions that are posed to you within your account. That usually takes, we've had a look at previous profile completion times, and on average it takes between 30 and 35 minutes, depending on how detailed the responses are. So before I go into the live demonstration of what it looks like within the website, I just wanted to run everybody through this. This is our sign up page. And in order to create an account in the registry, you need to have a username that can basically be anything. Most people we find tend to use their email address. And then your mobile number. If it's a person who doesn't have a mobile number, it could be their carer's number or their family member's number. It's just important to note that you cannot create a second account with the same mobile number. You can create separate profiles within the account, but only one account per mobile number. And then the password. Everyone's pretty familiar with password rules, and then you confirm your password. As soon as you create your account, you'll be prompted to fill in the verification code for your mobile number. So the mobile number you entered on the previous screen will then receive a verification code that you can type in, and then you will be able to open your account. The next thing that you'll be presented with is our terms and conditions. In the actual portal, it's scrollable, so you'll be able to read the entire document, and then you just select I agree. If you do not agree, you will not be able to go any further. And then you get to selection of the participant information and consent form. So we've got 3 separate consent forms. The one is for a participant over the age of 18 who is providing their own personal information, whether that be someone with HD or their carer. If it's their own personal info that they're entering into the registry, that is the participant information form and consent form that is read and signed. Then we have the carer partner responsible person. That document is to be read by someone consenting on behalf of an adult unable to consent for themselves. If you're from WA, we have additional steps that need to take place there, but generally those, so if it's a carer who is looking after someone who still has the ability to sign their own consent form, that person will then need to use the adult providing own consent. So it's only used in the instances where the person they're signing consent for is unable to do so for themselves. And then the same goes for the parent legal guardian of a child under the age of 18. Obviously, if your offspring is over the age of 18, they will have to do the adult providing own consent. So it's more about the person's information that's being read into the registry and not so much about the person who's filling it out. And that's what the participant information form looks like. It's got all the detail about the study and why we're collecting it, how we store it, and what the information will be used for. And at the end of the document, which is again scrollable with inside the MapHD registry, you need to select I've read and understood the information. Following that, you're taken through to the consent form. These are all the participant information forms, and the consent forms are available on our website. So you don't have to wait until you get inside the registry and have created an account. This can all be read outside of the registry, but the actual consent process takes place within the registry. So you'll have to go through everything and select your options. And before I go to those ones, we have these 5 required parts of the consent form. You need to select all of those in order to participate in the registry. And then we have 4 optional ones, which, as you can imagine, are optional whether you select them or not, and consent to them. Once you click I consent after the consent form, that is when we get to the actual registry. So let me just quickly stop sharing there, and I will go into the website. Okay, I'll just share my screen again. Again, can everybody see that? Great. So this is the HDNA website. When you visit hdna.com.au, that is what you'll be presented with. There's lots of information within the website, but you can go through to the registry from that link there. So if you sign up, you obviously use that tab for first-time signups. But if you've already got an account like I do, you can just sign in, which I'll do now. Because I've already got an account with a populated profile, that's why I needed to show you everything that comes before the consent process on the slides. So once you've completed the consent process, this is the introduction page. We've just got a few of the main questions here. The purpose of the registry. Can I register? The eligibility. So just some of the main questions I've already gone through with you on the intro page. And the second part of the intro page is just some really important information to help people know what they're getting into. There are required questions within the registry. That means we need those to be completed in order to continue. Most of the questions, however, are optional. Then we've got a save and continue button on each page. Once you get to the bottom of each page, when you press save and continue, that is, as the word says, it saves right there. You can actually log out at that point, whatever page you're on, and log back in at a later stage to continue if you wish. And then we've also made a little note here to say that you may need to go and refer to some of your records. We do ask some questions regarding the participants' medical practitioners and so on and so forth. So there might be instances where your records will need to be looked at. So then if we continue through there, we get to our basic information. So on the basic information, we have, here's what I meant about the required. If you do not fill in anything there, you will not be able to continue. You get a little warning message there. So that's what happens with the required questions. Optional ones you don't have to, but you can fill in if you want. Date of birth and your postcode. So if you press save and continue there, even at this point, if you log out, you can go back in. When you log back in, you'll be taken straight to this landing page here. Carrying on with basic information, we have the sex and gender page, the selections to be made there. And then we have some of the demographic information. So here you can select whether you're Aboriginal, Torres Strait, which country you were born in, languages, education, whether you're employed. So those type of questions. Who do you live with? And save and continue. Again, these are optional and do not need to be completed. Obviously, the more information we do get, the better. And then here we've got contact information. The mobile number that I used to create my account is already showing here as verified. So if this number that you provide within the registry is different to the one that you use to create the account, you'll need to go through that verification process again. And we've got the same with the email address. The email address, if you supply one here, you'll need to enter in a verification code, which you obviously get via your email inbox. And then it's address and postcode at the end there. So that's, and then still under the contact information, we ask what is the preferred mode of contact. And we have those 4 options there, and you can decide which is most suitable to your needs. And then we have a page where we ask what the participant would like to be informed about. What sort of communication are they into? Here you can select one or all of these, depending on your needs. So there's news, research opportunities, and then HD events or activities. And then we've got an alternative contact person, which you do not need to supply the details of anyone, but if you decide to, then there's the option to add their name and their preferred contact method. Then we get on to the HD status page of the registry. Now here we've actually made a slight improvement to the registry and the branch logic behind it. Originally, regardless of which of these HD status selections you made, whether you are diagnosed or gene negative, we let everybody carry on to the next 2 sections, which were clinical care and support services. We've now narrowed that down to only be relevant to those that have the gene or at risk. The way it currently is at the moment, everybody sees that, so that will change in future. So if you say, yes, you have the gene, then there's an opportunity to provide your CAG if you wish. And then you can just select one or both of the bottom, these 2 options here. I'm the primary caregiver of a person with HD or a family member. You can continue through that. And then we've got, because we selected that the person or the participant is gene positive, we now just select the statement that best applies to you. Have you been diagnosed? So here's where we actually try to determine or find out from the participant filling in the information whether they're diagnosed or not yet diagnosed. And then we move on to the clinical care section. So we've made a general time bracket of the past 2 years. That being because we hope to get people to come back and affirm their consent in the registry on a 2-yearly basis, and hopefully update their information so we keep the profiles current. And we just ask here, which HD specialist do you see, or if you have in the last 2 years. If you select no, then you can say the reason for, if you wish to, but I'm going to go with yes, so we can see the biggest part of the registry here. And then we ask, when you've wanted to get HD care, were you able to access doctors or other clinicians who understand HD? How difficult or easy was it for you to get the HD care? How long it took? There's different selections to be made, and if more than 6 months, you can fill that in. And then how satisfied were you? Very, right up to very dissatisfied. So those are the types of information that we're getting from the people. Well, let me just go back one first before I go onto there. So now I've said, yes, I definitely have seen a specialist in the last 2 years. So then if you carry on, we ask which type of clinician or HD specialist have you seen. So here you can select whichever are applicable, either yes, no, or unsure. I've just selected the first one as a yes. And there's a write-in option if the person's not listed there. And if you save and continue from that page, and this you'll get for each of those types of clinicians, you'll get this page. So this one's specifically just for the genetic counselor, because that's the one that I selected previously. And you have the option to fill in the name, how far you travel, and how long you had to wait to get an appointment. So if I had selected more than just one, I would have got the same page for the other clinicians. And if you carry on, we into the support services. So the support services we have here is the NDIS and aged care. So we start off with the NDIS, just explaining it all there. And you can let us know whether you're waiting for results, whether it's been approved, whether you applied but it was not approved. There's all the different options there. So I'll take approved. And then for approved NDIS plans, we ask whether you had assistance. So if it's no, but if you select yes, you can actually let us know who helped you to fill out your application. Then we carry on to ask about supporting evidence forms. Who helped you fill that out? And you can select, these are all optional and aren't necessary to continue, but obviously the more information we get, the better. And here we've got your first access request. How long did it take? All the options. And whether or not you've had a planning meeting. If you select you've had a planning meeting, we ask how was it conducted and who conducted the planning meeting. So there's different branch logic depending on the selections that you make for each question. Okay, and then we ask the approximate date of the plan being approved and how it is managed, whether it's self-managed or a combination of plan and NDIA managed, and then whether or not you can be linked with a support coordinator. Save and continue. Then we ask which support services have been funded in your plan. And here, similar to the clinical care questions, we have a selection of approved, needed, or not applicable. And depending on what you select here, you'll be asked further questions on those. So I'll just select assistance with daily living as a yes. There's a whole lot of different options there. And then we'll ask how long did it take, whether it was within a week, within 3 months, just for that specific assistance with daily living. And then overall, Do you feel whether your plan supports your needs? If not, what additional support you need? Do you have enough time allocated to you within your plan? And any supports or services that were rejected. And finally, how to access the NDIS, how confident you are, not at all with it. If you're confident about what your plan includes, and how to request changes to your plan. We just have those levels there that you can select from regarding your confidence about the plan. And then we move on to the aged care services. I currently receive them. I was assessed but was denied. So we make provision here for all the possibilities. And then who conducted your aged care assessment? Was it the RAS or the ACAT? RAS. And again, we have this table here where we asked about the ongoing services in the aged care package, which ones you have. Let me take those first two and show you what it looks like if we have additional ones. So those, we have them all laid out there as well. Save and continue. So now you can see, because I selected the two, I have the meals and other food services as well as the personal care services there, where I can say how long I had to wait for that to be granted. And then whether or not you've applied for a reassessment of your needs. We've got the three options there: no, yes, or not yet, but I intend to. Then we move on to the HD state associations. So on this page, we determine whether the participant has a connection with their state association. We've said here, if yes, please tell us which one. If not, just save and continue. So I'm going to show you what it looks like if I don't have any connections to any of the state associations. If I leave it blank and I save and continue, we ask them, why have you not been in contact? And the participant could say, I've chosen not to, or I was unaware. If they say unaware, we give them the option of being linked to their HD state association. So if they choose to, they say, yes, I would like to be linked to my HD state association, and continue from there. We ask them which one, and they can choose whichever one is relevant to them. And let's say they choose Huntington's Queensland and save and continue. Then the contact details of Huntington's Queensland is reflected there. Then they've also got the option here, yes, I'd like them to contact me, in which case if they save and continue from here, the registry automatically sends an email with their name and preferred contact details to Huntington's Queensland. So I won't do that now. But if they select no, thank you, I'll contact them myself and continue. Then they've got all the details there. Then we get to the profile completion, and we just ask here at the end, did you need assistance to complete this form? Did anybody help you or not? If you say yes, we just request from who did you get the assistance? And there's various options there that they can let us know who helped them out in filling out their profile. And if you save and continue from that page, you get the profile summary. Here you can view the consent form that you signed. So there you can see my 5 required or mandatory consent items, as well as the optional ones. And we've actually got the quick edit button here. If you change your mind, you can change the selections of the optional consent items. There's the declaration, and it's just literally a summary of all the information that you've already provided. So you can quickly scan through just looking at what you've given to the registry and make sure that everything is as you want it to be. So that is your summary page. And at any point you can just, if you go to the edit, it takes you to the aged care page that you wanted it to. edit. So if you see anything that is incorrect or you wish to update, that's a quick way of getting to it. Let me just go down to the bottom. And then if you continue from there, we've got the thank you page. And what happens is 24 hours after your completion of the profile, you'll receive a message from the HDNA thanking you for your registration and letting you know that when you log back in, your referrals tab will be available to you. So we've gone through everything. These left-hand navigation pane here is the entirety of the questionnaire. I'll just quickly take everybody through these top menu items here. I'll start off with the help one. The help button is just an online page that's really simple that you can fill it in, and an automatic email will be sent to info@hdna, and one of our team members can contact you. So that's an alternative to sending an email directly. That's an online page. Logout is when you want to leave the registry. Under your account, these are all the IT type settings, I suppose, for the account that you've created. You're able to change your password. It's just the standard. You read in your current one, select a new one, confirm the new password, and then you can update it. There's the option to enable two-factor authentication if you wish. You'll be able to set that up on your account. And then backup or delete account. Here we've got the option, if you download a full backup of your account, you'll be able to save that on your computer and delete your account, and then use that should you ever wish to open up a new account in the registry and populate it with that information. And then delete account is exactly what it, or your profile is exactly what it says. It'll just remove your profile from the registry. And that's how people withdraw from the study as well. And then the edit optional consent is what I showed you just now in the profile summary page as well. It's just a different way of getting there. You can now decide, oh, I want to consent to them contacting me to update my profile. You type in your password and confirm the changes, and that'll update your optional consent items there. So that's what we have under account. And then connections is where you can register others. At the beginning of the presentation, I mentioned that within an account, you can have more than one profile. So let's say I want to register somebody in my family, my child. I can say that I'm the parent or legal guardian of a child, and I'm going to complete a profile on their behalf and fill out all their information. So those will be where you register others. Referrals are just that. It's just within the registry, you can choose, I want to use my first name and last name, and then either by SMS or email, you can type in at the bottom here a little extra message if you wish, and the email addresses that you want to send the referral to. And if you send those off, it's an automatic email that will go to those email addresses. And then the SMS one's just a bit shorter. You don't have the option of adding in your own message there because of the space limit. But here you just fill in a couple of mobile numbers if you wish, and those people will receive the message from the HDNA. Or you can choose to refer by myself, where you just create a link, and that link you can send off to anybody in your own text from your own phone or in your own email outbox. So that's the connections referrals there. And then once you've got a few connections up and running, now you see I've got my sub profile here of my child. Those are my connections. So, and whoever you refer as well, if those people accept it, you'll have that connection showing there as well. And until they accept it, you'll also be able to see that you have a pending referral waiting there for you. I think that's it under connections, yes. And then under profiles, you'll see the main profile is indicated with a little dot next to the name. So that is the, I created the account, and that's the main profile. And then I can switch between mine and the sub profile, which is my child's. So if I go to that one, it's all the same. I haven't filled it out completely, but there's the introduction, and throughout the registry, we've got this note saying it's about the participant, not yourself. And if we move on to the basic information, it's the same as in our one, but then here you would fill in the secondary profiles information and go through the whole process again. And then you can add another, sub profile if you wish, or a child one. What I can also mention is here where we select the type of PICF. When you're initially creating an account, you have all three: the self, the carer, and the parent one. We're building as part of the next amendment, we actually have a few questions before you get to the questionnaire to help navigate people to the correct participant information and consent form, because we have had an incident where a parent fills in a parent consent form for their child, but their child's over the age of 18. So there's just a few questions just to make sure, very plain and simple. Is the participant 18 or older? Yes. And then are they able to do it for themselves and consent on their own behalf? If you select yes, then regardless of whether they have HD or not, they need to fill out the self-consent form. So that's coming soon. But at the moment, we still have it where the participant's able to just choose for themselves. And then we can switch back to the main one. And that is the registry, the MapHD registry. Are there any questions? I see we've got one here. What do we mean by sex assigned at birth? Let me go back to that. I think that's under the basic information. Let me just get there quickly. So here we've got what was the sex assigned to you at birth. That's just, there may be an instance where someone is born as a female, but during the course of their life, they choose to transgender to a man. So this is more about what you were born as and then what gender you identify as today. Does that answer that question? They may not necessarily be the same. Let me see if there are any others. So the registry has got quite a lot of information. We request quite a bit of information from the participants filling it out. But as I say, it doesn't need to all happen in one sitting. People can log back in and out as they have the time for it. And if you only provide the very basic information, it's super quick. Then there's not much to it. Let's have a look there. I've registered my husband in 2021. I now wish to add my son. Okay, well, in that case, you can log straight back into your account that you have. And if your son is under the age of 18, you're able to click register others. I'm the parent or legal guardian, and fill it out. If your son is over the age of 18 and unable to consent for themselves due to HD or any other reason, you select I'm the carer, partner, or responsible person. We've just gone through a lot of work behind the scenes regarding children and their ability to consent for themselves. We fully understand that we need to respect the fact that some children under the age of 18 are actually able to consent for themselves. But due to this being an online registry, we've set it as the legal age limit being 18, that under that age, parents will need to consent on behalf of their children. Let's see if there's any. Okay, we've got, thanks. Let me just see which one. Sorry, I think I've missed a few here. Oh, the NHMRC funding, how long will that last for the registry? We are funded until the end of 2025. Yes, that is how long the funding will come in from the NHMRC for the registry. We will definitely be looking at other sources of funding to maintain it after that time. That's all still a work in progress. Let's have a look.
Sorry, Audrey, I'll just say, if anybody would like to speak verbally as opposed to the messages, just pop your hand up or your little, if you know how to put your little image up, and Kathy will help out there. Okay. But it's great, all the questions coming through.
Yes, I see there's stacks coming through now. Let's have a look. Sean says, remind us of the purpose of the registry and what we're hoping the outcomes will be. Yes, Sean, so the purpose of the registry is to be able to identify the gaps where people are living with HD, what services and clinical care they have access to or don't have access to, so that we can actually use that information to direct funding in those areas and build up. If we find out, for example, there's no HD specialists in a certain area, but a lot of people with the disease, that we can balance that out there. So the outcome of that is to improve the lives of everybody affected by HD, so that they don't have to travel very far or go 8 months without seeing a specialist in HD. Let's have a look what else we have. How many people we currently have on the registry? This is my favorite question. We had 2 extra people join this morning, which brings us to a total of 57. And that's from the end of November last year when we launched. So we've got 57 people in the registry and at least one from every single state and territory in Australia. So we've got representation from across the country. Thanks for that one, Michael. And then, okay, some of the questions are: snapshot in time, is a plan to get updates at various intervals? Yes, definitely, Linda, thanks for that question. We are hoping to make this a registry that people regularly visit, that they go into and update their address, that they go into it and update whichever information has changed. What we are planning on doing is every 2 years sending out an affirmation of consent. So if you have said text message is my preferred method of communication, you'll receive a text message 2 years after your last consent submission, just saying it's now been 2 years since you consented. Do you wish to continue to remain in the registry? And if so, please log in and update your profile so that we have up-to-date current information. And we also recognize that sometimes there will be changes in that consent. For example, you might have registered your child who in the last 2 years has now become 18. And in that case, you can ask us to have that profile separated from your account, that child can then self-consent, or if they're unable to due to the disease, then you can have that moved from a child profile to a carer's profile. So yes, it is the aim that we keep this updated over time, so that we have a living registry, as you will, of what it currently looks like at the moment in Australia. And obviously, the more people who register, the better the picture is. We're very excited. Very soon, we hope to have a short little animated video to be able to share with everyone regarding the importance of the registry and why we want people to sign up to it. So that'll be hopefully shared soon. Are there any others? There's none more in the chat. Any hands up? Yes, Kathy.
I have a couple of questions. One was about the connections. So if you send out an invite to somebody and they become a connection, I'm presuming if you haven't registered, you don't get to see all their details. Would that be right?
Oh, yes, you don't see their details at all. You'll just see their name and surname. But obviously, if you are trying to connect with someone, you have their mobile number and their name and all of that jazz anyway. So, and those people could still register on the registry and decide not to connect with you. And at any point as well, you can break that connection within the registry. So it's just an easy, fun way to build the network, I suppose. But no, they don't have, if it's not like Facebook where now you can see their whole profile. That's not the case at all.
And I do have another question that someone actually asked me in regards to the HDNA registry in relation to research. Is the hope that as more people join the registry, and obviously all the information that you're gathering, which you, as you said, you're trying to fill the gaps and find the holes so that we can support people as best as possible, is the hope also that maybe that will make Australia more attractable for research in the future if we have this great database of information about people living with Huntington's in Australia?
That's right, most certainly, all of those reasons, as well as when new treatments become available, that we can get those to the people that are eligible to have them. Clinical trials as well. We'll know exactly where your pre-manifest people are and be able to contact them if they've selected to be contacted within the registry, and connect them to those clinical trials and treatments for sure. That is definitely part of it. Now we've got some more. Can you register someone who is deceased? We had that question a while ago. We're not looking for historical information. Another part of the mapping HD in Australia is our prevalence study, which is going to look at the actual latest numbers of HD within Australia. And that's where the family trees and deceased members and that sort of information will come in. But in terms of the registry, no, we're not looking for deceased profiles, no. Let me just see if there's any other hands up. It doesn't seem like it. But yes, I'd just like to offer my assistance if anybody has any questions or thinks about something at a later stage, or has somebody who needs help or very specific circumstances. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm more than happy to assist in whichever way possible.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Last chance for everybody. Questions, queries, doubtful points? Oh, excellent. Okay, so I firstly obviously want to thank Audrey for her time this evening. We really, really do appreciate it. You know, we obviously get a few questions about the registry, especially now that it's, you know, more people know about it. So to be able to host this sort of session has been of benefit for us as well as everybody that's attending. So thank you, Audrey, for taking time out of your evening to help educate all of us here this evening.
My pleasure. I love speaking about the registry. I'm so into it, though. I hope I didn't skip over too many bits, because I know it so well. But yes, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to drop me an email. Your passion comes through. It's really lovely. We can see and feel how passionate you are about this project, which is very exciting for us that obviously work with all our people that have Huntington. So no, we do thank you. I want to thank Lauren for her introduction. I also want to thank everybody for taking time out this evening and joining Audrey and us to talk about the registry. We hope that
We hope that it was informative for everybody. As Audrey said, we will provide Audrey's contact details, so please feel free to reach out to her if you wake up in the middle of the night tonight and think, oh, I should have asked that question. So you'll be able to do that. In the next few days, we'll organise to download the recording from this evening, and we will send an email out with a link to that recording, as well as Audrey's contact details if you do have any of those questions that you've thought of after this evening. So I guess if no one has any more questions, gone, we might wish everybody a good evening. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me, and for everyone who's signed in to listen to it. Thank you so very much. And that distinguished looking gentleman, Sean Riley, this is for those that don't already have met Sean. Sean is our operations manager at Huntington's Queensland, and he looks like he's burning to say something. So I'll hand over to Sean to wrap it up.
Yeah. Should I turn my video off? No, I would just like to thank Kathy for organising this, for Audrey for your time, and to Lauren, Tressa, and the staff in the Brisbane office. Thank you for all that you do. And to everybody who has come in online tonight, I hope you found this very useful. If you haven't registered, I think it's a great opportunity to do so for all the reasons that Audrey has spelled out. So thank you from me to all the staff, to all the participants, and to you, Audrey. Thank you very much indeed for your time this evening.
Only a pleasure. And Sean, I can't believe you sat through it again.
No, I want to become an expert on it.
There you go. Thanks so much for having me and giving me this opportunity to talk about it again. It's been fantastic.
Yeah. And then likewise, Audrey, any information that you would like to get out to people, please speak with Kathy in terms of our newsletter and website, and we're only too pleased to assist in any way that we can.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the support.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you
very much. Have a lovely
indeed.
evening.
Take care. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye for now.